others, right? That's a quote. So just like complimenting other people, looking for the good in other people, I think it kind of, when you're not thinking so much about yourself, that's what I think like builds my self-confidence.
I think like remembering like that it's not a competition, I think too, and try not like thinking about others, but also not thinking too much about others, like how others are thinking about you or like how you fit with other people necessarily. Just kind of think about I don't know, even what makes you happy, and then building off of that.
I think it's really important to remember the eternal perspective and just remember what really matters most. And yeah.
I think it's so easy to compare yourself to others every time you go on social media or like even just look around you at school. So like Jill said, keeping an internal perspective. And I got rid of, I don't do Snapchat or Twitter. I kind of got rid of some things just so like it wasn't constantly on my mind. It wasn't something I was constantly doing. So that was just a personal choice for me, but it helped. So
I think also if you have like read the creation story in the Bible, it talks about how after every creation he made, he said that he saw that it was very good. So you have to remember that he created our bodies and he saw that it was good. And if God thinks it's good, then it's definitely good.
I think it's also important like to exercise and be proud of like who you are, but you don't need to be like too focused on what you look like and things that you can't control. Well, I play volleyball, and one thing that we learned about on the team is to control what we can control, and we can't control how good the other team is or the referees or their calls or anything, and we just have to focus on how we do individually and how we perform as a team. And so what helps me is to just focus on what I can do to make things better. Like as long as I give 110%, like I can't control what the outcome will be.
I think you should, kind of going off of what you were saying, you can do everything you can, but then after that there's no point in worrying because it won't get you anywhere else.
I think talking about it too, because like for me, I get stressed out about something, I usually just like don't tell anyone about it, and then it gets into like this big monster of something that was probably like I have a test like the next day. And so just talking with my friends or even like your parents or your siblings or whatever, just getting it out there, I think helps a lot too.
I just talked to my mom, she always knows just what to say.
Yeah. I read somewhere that, I read this quote somewhere that it's like worrying is like running on a treadmill. You can work yourself up about it, but you're not going to get anywhere. So. I think it's not as hard as everyone thinks. Like, there's so many stories out there nowadays that, I mean, you have the extremes of both sides. Like, you have the girls that are barely wearing anything, and then there's the other side where, like, you don't need to wear a turtleneck, you don't need to have, like, I mean, some people, you don't need to cover it, like, up to here, but there's definitely some good in-between options now. It's not as hard anymore, I feel like.
I mean, and you always have, like, those, like, cap sleeve under, like, there's always, like, things you can do to, like, change how things look, I guess, so there's definitely options out there.
I think it does make it difficult, and I find that when I am comparing myself to others, it's okay to just unfollow them. Like when I start doing that, I unfollow them for a little bit, and then maybe later I'll go back, and yeah, so I've done that a few times actually.
I think a lot of the time too, people usually post things that necessarily aren't a lie, but they don't really reveal everything about them, so you get this image that they're perfect, or like in that moment it'll just look so good. But you have to remember that people are they're not perfect, and so even though you might see that in the moment, you have to realize that they're just as complex and they make as many mistakes as you do. It's just that they show it in that way, and so you think like, oh, I'm way below them, but I mean, if you did the same thing, they might be thinking the same thing about you too.
But people put the best parts of themselves on social media.
There's filters, there's apps and apps on like different things you can do, so it's never what it really seems like.
And you're not seeing their true self, you're just seeing them like.
It's hard to find one because because there's always that like one thing about them that you're like, oh, it'd be perfect except for you do this, and like I can't. So I kind of pick and choose different parts of different people. There's not really like one in particular. It's hard to do that unless it's like Elaine Dalton, who's like a gender authority. Then you're good.
I think if you have values that you really esteem and you look for those values in people, then like that's how I kind of see role models are people that exemplify this certain thing I think I need to work on or something I really want to be. It doesn't mean like they're a whole person, I want to be them, but I just want to kind of have what they have in that area, if that makes sense.
And I mean, Christ is the best role model, and I think he's like kind of what you're saying. Like you have things that you like about certain people, and like qualities you want to develop that maybe some of the people have that are stronger. But Christ is the perfect role model. And he can always be our example. I think self-confidence is a huge issue.
And comparing yourself, like that's what makes your confidence get lower. Is when you compare and you think everyone else is better than you don't feel so good.
And like along the same lines, I think a lot of people just don't realize how big life is and how many options there are. Like I think because we're in high school and we're in this like system of like this small society we're living in, we only have that to like base a lot of our like how we think about life off of that. And like there's this whole world out here and it's not all the same. And I think that along with that is just realizing that maybe things aren't going well in this situation, but like it doesn't mean it's because of you. It's just that sometimes that's what happens in life. You're not always going to be in the perfect environment. And I think just realizing that you're worth more than that and being able to see above that.
My mom gave me some really good advice. A while back when I first started high school, she said, when you go into high school, you're going to have lots of you're going to be thinking a lot about yourself. You're going to be really, lots of people kind of have self-confidence issues, and it's because they're thinking a lot about themselves. And so she told me, in the morning when you're in the bathroom getting ready for yourself, that can be your time to fix your hair, do your makeup. But as soon as you walk out of the door, don't think about yourself anymore. As soon as you walk out of the bathroom door, you should be focused on other people and what you can be doing to serve them. So that really helps me.
And I think investing yourself in the service to others is when I feel the best, and that's when I stop caring about what I look like or my body weight or anything like that. It's when I'm serving other people that I feel the best, and that's when I have the most confidence.
Family, friends, dance parties,
Gospel, the rain,
Service.